Learning gives creativity, creativity leads to thinking, thinking provides knowledge, knowledge makes you great. There's one more that I want to say. End is not the end if fact END means what? Effort never dies. See, I've given you two quotes. Can you guess the person who has written this quote? Fine. Let me ask you another question. Can you think of any scientists who have also been statesmen? Statesman means an important and experienced politician who has earned public respect. Can you guess anybody? Any scientist? Yes, I think you have got it. It's none other than Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, whose projects in space, defense, and nuclear technology guided India into the 21st century, became our 11th president in 2002. So, in his autobiography, that is Wings of Fire, in Tamil it is Agni Siragagal, he speaks of his childhood. This lesson, My Childhood, is an extract from the Wings of Fire. Come on, children, let's know more about this great personality, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Let's get into the lesson. I want you all to turn to page number 68, and I will be reading the lesson as well, explaining and giving you the hard words and its meanings. Let's get started. I was born into a middle class Tamil family in the island town of Rameshwaram in the erstwhile Madras state. My father, Jainulabdin, had neither much formal education nor much wealth. Despite these disadvantages, he possessed great innate wisdom and a true generosity of spirit. He had an ideal helpmate in my mother, Aishama. I do not recall the exact number of people she fed every day, but I am quite certain that far more outsiders ate with us than all the members of our own family put together. Kalamji was born into a middle class. He was a Tamilian, right? He was from the place Rameshwaram, and it is an island town in the state of Tamil Nadu. That is in the Bay of Bengal. Today we know that this state as Tamil Nadu, but when he was born, it was called as the Madras state. Abdul Kalam's father's name was Jainulabdin, and he says that his father was not very rich. He was not very highly educated, but despite these disadvantages, he had some special qualities. He was naturally very wise, he says, and was very generous too. Generous means romba dharalamana oru manasu irukku. But APJ's mother's name was Aishama. She used to help his father. She was of great support to him, She was also very generous and very kind-hearted. Every day they used to feed a lot of people. They fed outsiders more than the members in their family, it seems. That's what he says. That shows that this family was very generous, very kind-hearted. Giving was their motto, you can say. They used to give to many. That's what he means. I was one of many children, a short boy with rather undistinguished looks, born to tall and handsome parents. We lived in our ancestral house, which was built in the middle of the 19th century. It was a fairly large pakka house made of limestone and brick on the mosque street in Rameshwaram. My austere father used to avoid all inessential comforts and luxuries. However, all necessities were provided for in terms of food, medicine, or clothes. In fact, I would say mine was a very secure childhood, both materially and emotionally. Abdul Kalam had many siblings, and he describes himself. He says that he was short. I'm sorry, and very common looks he had. But his parents, when he describes his parents, he says that his parents were very tall and handsome. They were good looking, it seems. And then Kalam says that he lived in an ancestral house. It was very old. In the 19th century it was built, and it was a pucca house. And this pucca house is made of what? Bricks and limestone. And it was located on the mosque street in Rameshwaram. He also says that his father was very simple, but he was very strict also. He wanted to live his life in a very simple way, and he taught his children not to waste money on unnecessary things, it seems. He also says that his father avoided all these inessential comfort and luxuries, any kind of inessential comfort which is not needed for the house. So, all that he used to avoid, his father used to avoid, he says. And he provided everything that was necessary, like food or clothes or medicines, whatever. APG says that his parents fulfilled all his needs, whether it was material or emotional. Emotional is love and affection, material is whatever things that he needed. This shows that he was very grateful and thankful to his parents. The Second World War broke out in 1939 when I was 8 years old. For reasons I have never been able to understand, a sudden demand for tamarind seeds erupted in the market. I used to collect the seeds and sell them to a provision shop on Mosque Street. A day's collection would fetch me the princely sum of 1 anna. My brother-in-law Jalaluddin would tell me stories about the war which I would later attempt to trace in the headlines in Dinamani. Our area, being isolated, was completely unaffected by the war. But soon India was forced to join the Allied forces, and something like a state of emergency was declared. The first casualty came in the form of the suspension of the train halt at Rameshwaram station. The newspapers now had to be bundled and thrown out from the moving train on the Rameshwaram road between Rameshwaram and Dhanushkodi. That forced my cousin Shamshuddin, who distributed newspapers in Rameshwaram, to look for a helping hand to catch the bundles, and as if naturally I filled the slot. Shamshuddin helped me earn my first wages. Half a century later, I can still feel the surge of pride in earning my own money for the first time. APJ was 8 years old when the Second World War began, and that was in the year 1939. So if we have to calculate, you can say he was born in 1931, isn't it? So that time there was a demand for tamarind seeds. Tamarind seeds, the புளின்னு சொல்றோம்ல, வீட்ல புளி யூஸ் பண்றோம்ல, அது tamarind. And the tamarind seeds, there was a demand for these seeds. And what he used to do is he collected the tamarind seeds and sell them to the shop, a provision shop. Provision shop, you go and buy all the groceries, right? So that is the provision shop. That was on the Mosque Street. He used to sell there, and he would earn a very small amount, that is 1 anna, and he addresses it as a princely sum. Princely means very great and valuable, something very great and valuable for him, because that small amount, that meager amount, meant a lot of money to him, right? And here, who his brother-in-law, Abdul Kalam's brother-in-law, Jalaluddin, he used to tell stories about the World War, it seems. Later, what he used to do, he read the newspaper, Dinamani. Dinamani was the newspaper those days. And he used to read that and look for more stories and news about the World War. Rameshwaram was a very small town, very far away. So it was not affected much. And it was also, the war was also in the beginning stages. So nothing he could feel over there in his place. But after some time, India had to join the war and combine with the Allied forces. Then a state of emergency was declared in the country. So during this emergency, the president's rule is implemented in the country. It's like a curfew in the country, like what we are actually going through now. Ooradanga solronla, that is curfew. Lot of privileges which are given to the people are withdrawn. So people cannot enjoy. The president's rule is implemented. Okay? And the first impact of the World War II was on the people of Rameshwaram especially. It was the cancellation of the train. Train used to stop at Rameshwaram, right? But it did not stop. The train which came from India used to stop at Rameshwaram station and then went further to Dhanushkodi. But now that halt was cancelled. And the train went from India to Dhanushkodi without stopping at Rameshwaram. And while it came towards Rameshwaram, while it passed Rameshwaram, the newspaper bundles which had to come to Rameshwaram was thrown out of the moving train. You understand? So when the newspapers were thrown out, only those days the news could be heard only through radio or these newspapers. So newspapers were very important. So these newspaper bundles were thrown to the people of Rameshwaram when the train passed through Rameshwaram. Now APJ's cousin, Shamsuddin, he distributed the newspapers in Rameshwaram, it seems. So as the train stoppage was cancelled, what he did was, the newspapers were thrown out and he needed somebody to help him to catch it. So for catching these bundles and to distribute the newspapers, Shamsuddin actually took the help of Abdul Kalamji and he paid him a salary. So that was the first earning by whom? By APJ Abdul Kalam. So this actually happened 50 years ago. So even now he writes that he feels so happy and so satisfied that he earned his own money with his hard work. That's what he means to say. Every child is born with some inherited characteristics into a specific socio-economic and emotional environment and trained in certain ways by figures of authority. I inherited honesty and self-discipline from my father. From my mother, I inherited faith in goodness and deep kindness. And so did my 3 brothers and sister. I had three close friends in my childhood: Ramanatha Shastri, Aravindan, and Shiva Prakasan. All these boys were from Orthodox Hindu Brahmin families. As children, none of us ever felt any difference amongst ourselves because of our religious differences and upbringing. In fact, Ramanatha Shastri was the son of Pakshi Lakshmana Shastri, the high priest of the Rameshwaram temple. Later, he took over the priesthood of the Rameshwaram temple from his father. Aravindan went into the business of arranging transport for visiting pilgrims, and Shiva Prakasan became a catering contractor for the Southern Railways. For a child, the figure of authority is his parents, and the next figure of authority can be his teacher, right? Who is this figure of authority? A person who has authority over the child. Now APJ is saying that whenever a child is born, he has some qualities which he takes from his elders, or which he inherits or acquires from the elders in his family. So this depends upon the social status, or in terms of money, like you can say socio-economic. Socio-economic means the social status, okay, of the family and the environment at home. So what he has acquired, we shall see. He has acquired, or he has inherited, honesty and self-discipline from his father, and from his mother he has inherited faith in goodness and deep kindness. His siblings also inherited these qualities from their parents. Okay. APJ had three best friends during his childhood. You know who they were? The first one was Ramanatha Shastri, Aravindan, and Shiva Prakasan. They were very close to each other. And you know, all these three children belonged to a very orthodox Hindu Brahmin families. Orthodox means very strict Hindu Brahmin families they belonged to, and also they were very strict in following their religion. As APJ was from a Muslim family, he says that during his childhood, all the children were so close to each other that they never felt they belonged to different religions, it seems. They had no barrier in their friendship. They had no block. They were so free, they were so close to each other. There is a very famous temple in Rameshwaram, the Rameshwaram temple. Now you know this APJ's best friend Ramanatha Shastri was the son of Pakshi Lakshmana Shastri, and this man was the father of Ramanatha Shastri, was the priest of that temple. When these three friends grew up, Ramanatha Shastri took the priesthood of the Rameshwaram temple. Ramanatha Shastri later on became the priest. He took over the priesthood from his father. And then Aravindan, you know, he started a business of transporting the pilgrims to and from the Rameshwaram temple. These pilgrims were the people who come to visit the holy places. And last was Shiva Prakasan, and he became a catering contractor, it seems, for the Southern Railways. He was in charge of the catering for the railways. So all these three friends were settled. Okay. During the annual Sri Sita Rama Kalyanam ceremony, our family used to arrange boats with a special platform for carrying idols of the Lord from the temple to the marriage site situated in the middle of the pond called Ramatirtha, which was near our house. Events from the Ramayana and from the life of the prophet were the bedtime stories my mother and grandmother would tell the children in our family. Rama Kalyanam ceremony means it's a marriage festival. In South India, marriages are known as Kalyanam. So, Lord Ram and Sita's marriage is called as Sita Rama Kalyanam ceremony. So, when this used to take place every year, so whenever this Sri Sita Rama Kalyanam ceremony used to take place, APJ's family also took part in it, it seems. They used to arrange boats for it. They used to make a special platform on the boats on which the statue of Ram and Sita was placed, and it was transported, from the temple to the marriage site. And that marriage site was in the middle of a pond named Rama Tirtha. Pond na or kolam. And the kolathin naduvula da the marriage took place. So this pond was near APJ's house. So they grew up like they had no difference. That as he was a child, he had seen no difference between the Hindus and the Muslims. They all participated in the Hindu festivals. So that's how he grew up. And also his mother and grandmother used to tell stories about Ramayana and the life of the Prophet Muhammad. That was their bedtime stories. They used to listen to all those stories, and that's how they grew up without any difference on the grounds of religion. Okay. Now let's read an incident that happened when he was in his 5th grade. Okay. One day when I was in the 5th standard at the Rameshwaram Elementary School, a new teacher came to our class. I used to wear a cap which marked me as a Muslim, and I always sat in the front row next to Ramananda Shastri, who wore the sacred thread. The new teacher could not stomach a Hindu priest's son sitting with a Muslim boy. In accordance with our social ranking, as the new teacher saw it, I was asked to go and sit on the back bench. I felt very sad, and so did Ramananda Shastri. He looked utterly downcast as I shifted to my seat in the last row. The image of him weeping when I shifted to the last row left a lasting impression on me. After school, we went home and told our respective parents about the incident. Lakshmana Shastri summoned the teacher and in our presence told the teacher that he should not spread the poison of social inequality and communal intolerance in the minds of innocent children. He bluntly asked the teacher to either apologize or quit the school and the island. Not only did the teacher regret his behavior, but the strong sense of conviction Lakshmana Shastri conveyed ultimately reformed this young teacher. All of us know that APJ Abdul Kalam belonged to a Muslim family, and Muslims wear a cap on their head which identified him as a Muslim. His friend Ramananda Shastri was a priest's son, so he wore a sacred thread. These Brahmins wear a sacred thread, isn't it? Across their body. So a sacred thread was worn by Brahmins, and that was worn by Ramananda Shastri. When both these children were in class 5, a new teacher came into their class, it seems. So he recalls all that incident that happened then. This new teacher, he could not tolerate a Hindu priest's son sitting next to a Muslim boy. So he told APJ to go and sit on the last bench because the last benches belonged to the lower community people. So both the children felt really very bad. And APJ had to go back, so he changed his seat and went back and sat on the last bench. This Ramananda, who was a very close friend of APJ, felt really very bad. And he still remembers that his friend started to cry very badly. It left a very strong impression on Kalam. He still feels that his friend was so great that he cried for him because APJ was sent back. Both of them went home and they shared this incident with their parents. But this Lakshmana Shastri, who was the father of Ramananda, he could not bear that. What did he do is he called the new teacher. He summoned. Summoned means he called the new teacher. He told him not to kill the children's friendship by throwing the poisonous discrimination, that difference of caste and religion, into their innocent minds. He was very clear, and he told the teacher either to ask sorry for what wrong he has done, or he asked him to leave the school and Rameshwaram town itself. So the teacher asked sorry for the mistake he had done, and the young teacher was reformed, was changed. Could not stomach. Could not stomach means could not tolerate, and then downcast is sad or depressed, you can say. Conviction, a strong opinion or belief. Let's see to Abdul's science teacher, who was an inspiration. On the whole, the small society of Rameshwaram was very rigid in terms of the segregation of different social groups. However, my science teacher Shiva Subramania Iyer, though an orthodox Brahmin with a very conservative wife, was something of a rebel. He did his best to break social barriers so that people from varying backgrounds could mingle easily. He used to spend hours with me and would say, Kalam, I want you to develop so that you are on par with the highly educated people of the big cities. One day he invited me to his home for a meal. His wife was horrified at the idea of a Muslim boy being invited to dine in her ritually pure kitchen. She refused to serve me in her kitchen. Shiva Subramanian Iyer was not perturbed, nor did he get angry with his wife, but instead served me with his own hands and sat down beside me to eat his meal. His wife watched us from behind in the kitchen door. I wondered whether she had observed any difference in the way I ate rice, drank water, or cleaned the floor after the meal. When I was leaving his house, Shiva Subramania Iyer invited me to join him for dinner again the next weekend. Observing my hesitation, he told me not to get upset, saying, once you decide to change the system, such problems have to be confronted. When I visited his house the next week, Shiva Subramania Iyer's wife took me inside her kitchen and served me food with her own hands. This small society of Rameshwaram had, very rigid terms. Rigid means very strict terms of the segregation. Segregation means separation. So they were separated or divided into many groups like Brahmins, the Vaishyas, the Shudras. So this kind of a social difference was seen in Rameshwaram. Now his science teacher, Shiva Subramaniam Iyer, he was a very strict Brahmin. And he also had a very conservative wife. Conservative means a very traditional kind of lady she was. And she was very strict also in her religion. She was a Brahmin, so she was very strict. And but he was a rebel. Who do you call a rebel? A rebel is always who opposes something, who always is against something. This person was also this who the Iyer, that is Shiva Subramania Iyer, his science teacher, was a rebellious type of person. He did not believe in distinction on the basis of the caste system. He worked very hard, to break these barriers. He didn't want this to happen. He wanted everyone of every kind of people, every religion people to mingle with each other or to interact. Mingle means to join, to interact with each other. And also he told Kalam that Kalam has to work hard. He encouraged him to work hard so that he could be on par. On par means at the same level as the highly educated people who lived in the big cities were. So he was a very encouraging person, a rebel you can call him. Rebellious in opposition. So he never liked all these differences. So that kind of a person was his science teacher. And who was his science teacher? He was Shiva Subramania Iyer. One day what happened, he invited APJ to his home for a meal. And his wife was horrified. She was scared that a Muslim boy, he comes from a Muslim family, So if he comes in, he would make her kitchen impure, unclean it might become. That's how they believe. So she refused to serve food for the Muslim boy in her kitchen. But Shiva Subramaniam, he never cared for all that. He was not upset. Iyer was not perturbed. Perturbed means he was not upset, nor did he become angry with his wife because she was hesitating, to serve food for the boy. He never was upset of all that. He never got angry also. What he did was, he sat beside him next to APJ and he served himself. He served for the boy. But what his wife did was, she stood beside the kitchen door and she was watching what they were doing, how APJ was having his food, his meal. She wanted to find difference in his way of having his food and drinking water. But nothing was different there. So that's what he wants to highlight, that religion does not matter, as it does not alter the way in which a person eats his food. When APJ was about to leave Subramaniam's house, he invited him once again for dinner the next week. So he asked him not to get upset. Abdul was a bit hesitant. He was quiet and he didn't want to come again because he felt a bit bad. But still, Iyer says, no, don't be upset. So he added that he had decided to change the system. So we have to go against the norms or the rules of the society. He had to be strong and brave and confront. Confront means face the situation. That's what Iyer taught, the science teacher taught whom? Taught APJ. So when he visited his science teacher's home for dinner the next week, his wife invited him. She called him herself, made him sit in her kitchen, and she served him food with her own hands. So this is the change that happened. That's what he says. Now he is leaving Rameshwaram. Then the Second World War was over and India's freedom was imminent. Indians will build their own India, declared Gandhiji. The whole country was filled with an unprecedented optimism. I asked my father for permission to leave Rameshwaram and study at the district headquarters in Ramanathapuram. Now, the Second World War got over in the year 1945 and India was about to get its freedom. So, this happened in the year 1947, isn't it? Now, Mahatma Gandhiji, who was known as the father of our nation, he said that Indians would build their own India very soon. So the entire country was filled with hope and happiness. Everyone was experiencing a feeling that they had never felt before. So everyone was hoping and they were waiting for the freedom. And this is the time when Abdul Kalam ji, he asked his father for permission to leave Rameshwaram, because Rameshwaram was a very small town, but he wanted to study further. So as he wanted to study further, he asked for permission to go to the district headquarters, that is Ramanathapuram. Let's see what his parents told him. He told me as if thinking aloud, Abdul, I know you have to go away to grow. Does the seagull not fly across the sun, alone and without a nest? He quoted Khalil Gibran to my hesitant mother. Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. Now his father gives an example of a seagull. He says that his father told him that he knew that APJ needed to go away so that he could move ahead in life. If he has to grow, he can go. So he gives the example of this bird. He says, see, the seagull doesn't bother. It just flies away in the sky all alone. It does not have a nest too. It means it does not have a home of its own as it keeps on flying from one place to another. But APJ's mother, when she came to know that he has to leave home, she did not want to send him. She was a bit upset as a mother. But father tried to console her. He says a few lines from a famous poem titled Your Children. It's written by Khalil Gibran. He says that your children are not your children. They are the children of life. So don't think that you can rule over your children. They are a result of life's desire for itself. They have their own thoughts and their own desire. So they have to take up their own decisions. He asked her to give them freedom to fulfill their thoughts. So this is how the parents reacted to APJ when he told them that he wants to leave Rameshwaram. Okay, so this is an extract which was taken from The Wings of Fire, written by APJ Abdul Kalam. I hope you all understood. So just let's recall the lesson. My childhood is an extract from the biography of APJ Abdul Kalam, Wings of Fire. He was a great scientist and also he was the 14th president of India. He was born in the middle class Muslim family in the year 1931. And where? In the island town of Rameshwaram, Tamil Nadu. He was greatly influenced by his parents, his teachers and his friends. Jainul-Abdin was his father. He was not very highly educated but a very generous and a kind man. He was not very rich too, and he provided a very secure childhood to Abdul and his siblings. Now APJ inherited what? Honesty and self-discipline from his father, And from his mother, what did he inherit? He inherited faith, goodness, and deep kindness. And his first wages, what was his first wages? He worked as a helping hand to his cousin Samshuddin, right? He distributed newspapers. He collected the newspapers and he distributed the newspapers in Rameshwaram. And he had 3 friends, Ramanatha Shastri, Aravindan, and Shiva Prakashan. Also, in the 5th grade, what happened? A new teacher asked him to sit in the last row because he was sitting with the high caste Brahmin boys. But Abdul found Ramanatha Shastri crying. This made a lasting impression on Abdul. And then Abdul was greatly influenced by his science teacher Shiva Subramanya Iyer. He learnt a lesson of breaking the social barriers from him, isn't it? So Iyer invited him to his house. For the first day, his wife did not serve him any meal because he was a Muslim. But then when she watched him eat and drink water, she could find no difference. And the next time when he was invited, he convinced his wife to serve meal with her own hands and was very successful in changing her conservative attitude. And then he wanted to go for higher education, so he asked permission from his father to leave where? To leave Rameshwaram and to study at the district headquarters in Ramanathapuram. His father said that Abdul had to go a long way and he had to come up in his life, grow. So he took the example of a seagull bird which flies long distances without having a nest. And he consoled and calmed APJ's mother, who was hesitant, by quoting this Khalil Gibran's poem, that is, your children. He said that your children are not your children. They are the children of life. So they did not belong to her. He tried to console her. And he asked her to give them freedom to fulfill their thoughts and desire. So this is what is the lesson, My Childhood. A very beautiful lesson and an inspiration to all of us. And we all know this great man, APJ Abdul Kalam. Thank you very much, children.